Check me out. May the 22nd, 2025, New York City. Sean G, Podcast with Soul, live from the Federal Building. You understand? Everything that you're gonna hear me say on this video is what I just heard in court. Today, you have Kid Cudi on the stand. We had two people on the stand, but I'ma rock with Kid Cudi first. Check my people out, Big Tone, John, and Jamil. I want to give a shout out to all my lady followers, Frank Matthews, Jake Banger, what up? Jim D. All of my lady followers or any woman that watches this video or any of my videos related to this trial, I just want to let you know that I empathize and I sympathize with you if you are in a domestic violence situation or you have been in one. I grew up, my mother was in one. I watched my mother go through a domestic violence situation. So don't never construe nothing that I say or a position that I take that I'm not sympathetic with domestic violence. I need everybody to give a thumbs up. Check Sean G out. Check Sean G out. Share this video. Hit the share button and share it over there. Hit the share button and share it over there. Kid Cudi got on the stand. His real name is Scott Mescudi. He was under direct examination by the U.S. Attorney Johnson, okay? He said that he was an actor and a producer and that him and Cassie dated briefly in 2011. Listen, he told the federal prosecutors on the stand, under oath, that him and Cassie dated briefly in 2011. From what we heard, it was 1 month. Cassie told him up front that her and Puffy weren't dating and that her and Puffy were having problems. In 2011, law enforcement or the cops came to Kid Cudi's house in Los Angeles. Cassie called him that morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and asked Kid Cudi to come pick her up, that Puffy had found out that they was messing around, right? So she called him, said, come pick me up. She also told Kid Cudi that she gave Puffy Kid Cudi's address to his house. Cassie gave Puffy Kid Cudi's address to his house. That's what Kid Cudi testified on the stand. Kid Cudi went and picked her up. She seemed stressed out. She seemed scared. He took her to the Sunset Marquis Hotel in Los Angeles to be safe. He then called, what's that girl's name that worked for Puff? Capricorn, Kid Capricorn. He called Capricorn on the speakerphone with Cassie, and that Cassie was on the verge, that Capricorn was on the verge of tears, that Puffy had called Capricorn, which was his assistant, and told her to get ready. I'm coming to pick you up, and you're gonna ride with us over to Kid Cudi's house. Royston Gibbs, thank you for that super chat. Oh, camera about to blow down, y'all. Hold up.
Sir, when we start to roll, could you give us 5 minutes, please?
I'm live in the middle of my thing, man. I'm live in the middle of my thing right here.
Is it possible for you to move over a couple of feet without interrupting your stream? That would be really helpful.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
All right. They asked me nice to move, so I'm gonna move. So, you're welcome. You're welcome. Capricorn, Kid Cudi called Capricorn. She was in tears because she said she was in the car outside of Kid Cudi's house, and Puffy and another dude broke in Kid Cudi's house and was in his house. Hold on, y'all. My jacket fell down. Hold on. I got my fly jacket fell down. Don't go nowhere. Don't hang up. Hold up. Don't go nowhere. When Puffy found out Cassie and Kid Cudi was dating, he called Capricorn, jumped in his car. He made Cassie tell him Kid Cudi's address. Cassie told him. Puffy got somebody else. They didn't say the security. And they went over to Kid Cudi's house and broke in his crib. This is what the direct examination by the U.S. government, Attorney Johnson. Capricorn called Kid Cudi, or either Kid Cudi called Capricorn and said, I'm waiting outside, Puffy and them in your crib. Kid Cudi said he hung up the phone and called Puffy. Kid Cudi, while Puffy is in his crib, picks up his phone and called Puffy and say, motherfucker, you in my house? He said that right on the stand. Puffy told him, yeah, I want to talk to you. Kid Cudi told Puffy, I'm on my way. Puffy told him, I'm going to wait for you. When Kid Cudi got there, Puff wasn't there. The security camera on his front door was moved. They locked his dog in the bathroom, and some gifts that he had, some Chanel gifts that he had, Puffy and them opened it up. And normally his dog run around loose in the house, but the dog was locked up in the bathroom. That's how he knew somebody was in the crib. Kid Cudi said, I got back in my car and he called Puff because he wanted to confront Puffy and fight Puffy. Then he said, calm down, take a breath. Let me rethink this thing. I don't know if he got a jammy on him. I don't know if he got a piece on him or what. I don't know who he with. If who he with got a piece on him. Let me rethink this thing. So then he calls the police. He made a report. Later that day, he saw Cassie later that day. And she was stressed out. A little bit after that, he flew cross country from California to Connecticut. Kid Cudi flew from California to Connecticut to spend Christmas with Cassie, with her mother and father and her brother in Connecticut. I gotta stay close to my tripod because the wind will try to blow down. It's cold in New York. It's almost June and it's like 40 degrees. Shakzada King. So for Christmas, Kid Cudi fly from California to Connecticut. He stays at Cassie's mother's crib with Cassie, her mother and father, and her brother, and spend Christmas with them. While he's there, Puffy is texting Kid Cudi while he in Connecticut. Kid Cudi telling him, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to text. A little bit after that, a few weeks later in January, that Christmas was December 2011. January 2012, they break up. Cassie breaks up with Kid Cudi. right? So that's the way it was initially presented, was that they was only together for like a month when he went over there for Christmas, and then she broke up with him in January, like a month. But put your seatbelt on. Put your seatbelt on and wait until Kid Cudi meet with the federal prosecutors. You know, every time Puffy's lawyer say, do you remember meeting with federal prosecutors? You know it's finna go down. Check me out. Check me out. Kid Cudi go back to California, and while he is by his ex-girlfriend's sister's house with his ex-girlfriend, his Porsche 911 Cabriolet catches fire. Somebody throw a Molotov cocktail in his Porsche 911. They cut a hole in the top of the roof in the convertible and set the car on fire. He called 5-0. He called 5-0. Punch, drink, boxing. Punch, drink, boxing. Keep doing an epic job with your cover. God bless. Thank you, man. I want to thank everybody for the super chat. A couple people sent me cash apps last. Tariq sent me a cash app last night. Tariq, all love, man. Thank you. If I don't get to you, if I don't say your name, just know I am gracious and appreciative, and I appreciate you. So he got a dog sitter. Kid Cudi got a dog sitter to watch his dog. His dog sitter called him and said, yo, your car's on fire. While he by his ex-girlfriend's sister's crib. They cut a hole in the top of the convertible. They drop a Molotov cocktail in the car. He go home. He automatically thinking it's Puff right off the rip, because the incident with Puff breaking in his house. He called 5-0. The police come. He said it's on the stand. When he get back to his car and see his car burnt up, he say, what the fuck? He said that on the stand. He believes that the damage was intentional and that it was Puffy. So, a little while later, D-Rock, Puffy security, reach out to Kid Cudi's man and tell him, yo, Puffy want to meet up one-on-one with Kid Cudi. So they meet up at the Soho House in Hollywood. So Kid Cudi go down there. Puffy already there. Puffy security, D-Rock come out, escort Kid Cudi to the room where Puffy at, close the door. It's just them two in the room. Just them two in the room. Just Kid Cudi and Puffy in the room. Kid Cudi said Puffy was standing looking out the window like this with his back to him, looking like a Marvel villain from like the cartoon, like a Marvel character. Said Puffy was looking like a Marvel villain. And they talked. They talked about Cassie. Puffy wanted to know how it started, what happened, what went on, right? And Cassie shows up, right? Well, hold on. They talked about Cassie. How did you meet Cassie? Wayne 704. How did you meet Cassie? How did you start? How did you get involved with Cassie? Puffy, he want to know. He jealous. He love Cassie. So they talk about that. They shook hands, right? Now this meeting they having is the next day after the Porsche catch on fire. They talk it out. Kid Cudi say, They shook hands, they dapped it up, and Kid Cudi say he was holding his hand, looking Puff dead in the eye and say, what are we gonna do about my car? He said, Puff looked back at him and said, I don't know what you're talking about. And they left. But then Cassie showed up, and Kid Cudi was mad and hurt because she went back with Puff. Then he said that he saw Puff a few years later at the Soho house again, and Puff went up to him and said, I want to apologize about all that bullshit. But this is a few years later. Now, cross-examination. Brian Steele, the one that got Young Thug off down in Atlanta. Cross-examination, Brian Steele. Brian Steele come out, he ain't playing no game. Listen, I need y'all to hit that like button. I got 700 people in here. I only got 150 thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Hold on, let me get my stuff. Y'all ready for the cross-examination? Cross-examination of Kid Cudi by Brian Steele. He ain't playing no games. He goes straight for the neck. He said, Kid Cudi, do you have any surveillance photos showing that Mr. Combs was on your property, or who was on your property the day that there was a break-in or your car got blown up? He said, no. He said, the fire department was called, right? The police came, right? You did a police report, right? He said, yes. Brian Steele, Kid Cudi, was DNA collected by the cops on your car? Kid Cudi, yeah, they collected DNA. Brian Steele, didn't that DNA come back to a female? The government objected. The prosecutors objected. But he ended up, Brian Steele ended up getting his point across that, could you do me a favor? Excuse me. Could you do me a favor? Could you turn that down a little bit? Nah, you can't? All right. I hope somebody comes and interrupt your thing and they tell you no, they can't accommodate you too. They can't help you too. She's gonna come over and put the music on. You see I'm right here. So can y'all hear that music? Can y'all hear that music? Can y'all hear that music? Cause YouTube gonna strike my videos, man. Could you give me like 5 minutes, please? 5 minutes? Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. You got social media? I can help you promote. You want to promote your social media? All right. So the 5-0 collected the DNA off the Porsche, but the DNA came back to a female. Brian Steele, Kid Cudi. There was no eyewitnesses that saw Puff there at your house. None of your security surveillance saw Puff, right? No. You have no evidence that Puffy was at your house. No. Brian Steele to Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi, you and Cassie talked or text every day for 1 year. You knew Cassie, Brian Steele. Your relationship had ended with Cassie. Prior to the relationship ending, you and her talked or text every day for 1 year. Brian Steele looked at Kid Cudi and said, Cassie played you, right? He said, yeah. He said, Cassie played you. Kid Cudi, didn't you go on an international tour with 65 cities called the Cud Life Tour? Yes. In 2011, Kid Cudi, didn't you describe Puffy as an icon? Yes. In 2010, this is all Brian Steele, Puffy's lawyer. In 2010, Puffy, as a favor to him, Puffy, as a favor to Puff, asked you to do a song with Cassie. And yet you ended up, you know what I'm saying, knocking her down, getting with her. Y'all worked out together, you went hiking together, y'all went to the movies, y'all did drugs together, right? He said, drugs, what you mean? He said, you mean weed? Brian Steele says, yeah, weed. Yeah, we smoke weed together. Brian Steele, you had consensual sex with Cassie? Prosecution. Sidebar. Sidebar. What's happening, baby? Mark 4. Brian Steele asked Kid Cudi on the stand in front of everybody, didn't you have consensual sex with Cassie? Prosecution. Sidebar. They shut the whole court down. So Puffy's lawyer, Brian Steele, and the prosecution go up to the judge. They turn the mics off. Now they talking it out. So they come back from the sidebar. Brian Steele go right back. Didn't you have consensual sex with Cassie? Sidebar, another sidebar. Two sidebars back to back. So they come back. So Brian Steele, he leave that alone because he already made his point. He says, you really liked Cassie, didn't you? Kid Cudi, yes. Cassie told you she wasn't really with Puff, right? Yes. In Thanksgiving 2010, she told you her and Puffy were having problems and that they were on again, off again, on again, off again. Yes. Kid Cudi, when you met with federal prosecutors, you told them that for 4 years, Cassie told you that her and Puffy were on again, off again for 4 years. He said, I don't remember saying that. Brian Steele said, well, let me refresh your memory. Pulled out the paperwork and says, do you remember when you met with federal prosecutors? He said, oh, yeah. If it's there, then I must have said it. In 2011, Kid Cudi, Cassie and you confided in each other. You spent 3 days Christmas with Cassie and her family. You flew across country to be with her after the trespassing incident. Kid Cudi, you were hurt when Cassie left you. He said, yes. You was in love with Cassie, weren't you, Kid Cudi? He said, yes. Kid Cudi, isn't it true that you believe the day of your break-in, your alleged break-in, when Puffy allegedly broke in your house, you actually left your front door open that day of the break-in? He said yes. When Cassie, you were in love with Cassie, right, Kid Cudi? Yes. And when she got back with Puffy, you wanted to fight Puffy. He said yes. Kid Cudi, Cassie never told you that Puffy physically abused her, did she? No. Kid Cudi, Cassie never told you that she was sexually abused by Puffy, did she? No, she never told me that. And Kid Cudi, isn't it true that when you and Puffy met and got together, that Puff was confused? Because he found out she was talking to you for over a year, and then you was confused because you thought she left Puff alone. Isn't it true, Kid Cudi? Both of you guys were played. You and Puff got played by Cassie. Both of y'all got played. This is what Brian Steele is saying on the stand. Isn't it true, Kid Cudi, that Cassie was living 2 different lives? Yes. Kid Cudi, isn't it true that nobody was ever charged for damage to your car? Sidebar, 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 sidebar. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Kid Cudi, isn't it true that no other action was taken on your car damage? No other action was taken. Kid Cudi, when you met with federal prosecutors again, you told the feds that Cassie had multiple phones, that she had a burner phone, an untraceable phone. And Cassie told Puffy the address to your home. Yes. Brian Steele said, I ain't got no more questions. The government came out, they're gonna do a redirect. And then they just tried to clean up what he, you know what I'm saying? And then there was no recross, so it was over. So Cassie, according to Brian Steele, had consensual sex with Kid Cudi and had been seeing him for over a year without Puffy's knowledge. She playing Puff. You understand? She got Kid Cudi on the side right here, Kid Cudi in the cut. And then she telling Cassie telling Kid Cudi, nah, me and Puffy, we ain't together, but she's still rocking with Puff too. So she playing both of them. So Puffy is confused, Kid Cudi confused. So they get together and try to compare notes. Like, well, what is she telling you? Well, this is what she tell. Cassie is playing both of them. So what the government was attempting to establish this morning with Kid Cudi was the fact that Capricorn Karen, whatever the hell her name is, who was Puffy's assistant, and some security person were acting in concert with him to do the arson on the car, because arson is a part of the RICO, and to show that his employees are a part of the racketeering conspiracy. That's why they're able to do the racketeering conspiracy, because his employees are helping him carry out these events. What else? But what Brian Steele did today was he showed and proved. Who is that right there? 78 Sports TV, thank you for that super chat. What he showed and proved today, Brian Steele, was that, number one, Cassie was involved with Kid Cudi for over a year. She confided in him, he confided in her. Cassie never once told Kid Cudi about sexual abuse or freak-offs, or that she was physically abused. Cassie did tell Kid Cudi that he punched and hit her. He punched and kicked her one time. And that's why he wanted to fight Puff. Kid Cudi wanted to fight Puff. But what Brian Steele laid down today on the record is that Cassie was having consensual sex with other men. Like, so this kind of throws water on the trafficking joint, you understand, and the other joint where you sell it and get money for it. You understand? She was giving it out to my man on the strength, right? So that was that's what they went on today. But I'm finna go back up here. They got it. They interviewed his assistant too. I'm gonna do him this afternoon. Sean G, podcast was sold. It don't never stop. Thank everybody for the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go follow me on my Spotify, because I got to get my numbers up on Spotify so I can get monetized on Spotify and get a check from over there. The podcast was sold on Spotify. Thank you in advance. The podcast was sold on Instagram. Thank you in advance. And to all my lady followers and all my dude followers that unfollowed me on my... What's up, man?
Peace,
How you doing,
peace,
bro?
God,
Everything
peace,
good?
God,
My
everything
man.
good.
Yeah.
You doing your thing.
Thank you, man.
Better than all of them.
Thank you, man. To all the ladies who unfollow me on my Instagram, all the dudes that unfollow me on my Instagram because I take the position that I take in terms of Puff. You know, to the ladies, I think I've already explained to you that my mother was a victim of domestic violence. I watched that as a little boy. It traumatized me. So I don't overlook domestic violence, and I don't celebrate that Puffy was involved in that. Puffy is guilty of assault. Puffy is guilty of domestic violence, but he's not charged for that. You know, RICO and these other charges, I just don't see it, and that's why I take the position that I take. So I just want to say that to you. I don't disrespect your feelings, but to the dudes that unfollowed, you understand? Don't refollow. I don't want you to come back anyway. You understand? Because if you can unfollow me for this one thing, that I got a different position than you understand? To me, that's a honeymoon, right? See, we're not gonna always agree on everything that we do. All right, baby, go ahead. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. We're not gonna always, real men are not gonna agree on everything. And then you forget all the motivational videos I did for you. All the times I helped you when you got your heart broken by ladies. I helped you with your diet. I helped you with the calisthenics. I helped you with inspiration. I helped you with depression. I helped you with self-esteem. I helped you with confidence. I helped you with all this shit. And then this one thing, cause I'm over here and I like ketchup on my hot dog and you like mustard, you gonna unfollow me? Get your fake ass up out of here anyway and don't never come back. Sean G, podcast from Soul. Don't never stop. Peace.